What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing today? We got a dual stream today, a special occasion. We're streaming on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. This is the first time I've done this. I don't know why I haven't done it before, but that's what we're doing. So it's going to be a little crazy. I'm going to be answering questions on YouTube and Insta at the same time. What's up, Brian M? Kaneji? Welcome, Instagram, everybody. How am I feeling? 92 hours, fasted only on spring water, and I'm feeling great. I didn't think I would feel this good. I'm coming up on 4 days without eating any food, and I didn't think that I would actually feel this great 4 days into it. I've gone 10 days before on just water, so I forgot what it's like, but that's why I went 10 days last time, is because I felt amazing like the whole 10 days. So, and I could have went longer. I could have fasted longer. So fasting has always been like an amazing experience to me, just by how good I feel and like the level of mental clarity that I get. It's pretty unbelievable. And I don't know why I have so much mental clarity when I fast compared to when I'm not fasting, but wonder if it's because it's like detoxing heavy metals out of my brain, or I don't know. Like maybe I'm mildly epileptic. I've always suspected that I was undiagnosed epileptic because of the seizures I used to have. So maybe fasting like completely cures any electrical disturbances in my brain. But it's been interesting. Sage Massey says, how much does your stomach... I don't understand BUTN. I don't understand the question there. You have to rewrite that one. 92 hours, yeah. Yes. MM on YouTube says, do you eat cooked grains, maybe rice? Sometimes if we get like a rare steak at a restaurant, if we go out to eat, I'll have rice on the side. But that's the only time I eat rice. And yeah. As far as cooked grains goes, every once in a while I'll do like some sourdough bread. How much does my stomach burn? Oh, it doesn't burn at all. My stomach feels great. What's up, Beyond Terrain? Everybody follow Beyond Terrain on Instagram and YouTube. Good channel. Good message. Niall on YouTube says, do local farmers give you raw cream? Yes, when he has it in stock, which is very rarely. I have a couple different farms I go through for that, and sometimes they're out. Depthulism on Instagram says, do you think fasting subconsciously signals that you are not winning? I don't know, man. I've heard a lot of people try to put basically like sort of a negative twist on fasting. I don't really understand it, because all the experiences that I've ever had with fasting have been just like profound. Like, it puts me in a total state of bliss and mental clarity and like razor sharp thinking. So I can't really wrap my head around it being negative, because my experiences with it have been just overwhelmingly like positive. So the only thing that I can postulate that fasting does is it puts you into hunting mode. So it enhances all of your senses and gets you prepared for your next feast. But I'm not hungry. That's the thing, is like a lot of people are like, oh, you're starving yourself. You know, there's the camp that's anti-fasting. They're starving yourself, whatever. I'm not hungry. So why should I eat? So when I fast until natural hunger. I take it as far as I can go. I take it as far until I feel hunger. And I have not felt hungry yet. We did go to the store today to return some items that we got for Christmas. And we went to Walmart, and it was pretty crazy, like walking by all of the food. And like surprisingly, like all of like the junky food like looked good. Like box of brownies and like a pizza, like when you're 3 days fasted and you walk by like brownies and pizza, like that actually looks pretty good, even though I eat raw meat. But you know, I'm not actually like hungry yet. Brian M says on YouTube says you did 90 hours, sweet bro. I did the 48s back to back with a 4-hour feast window. That's awesome, man. I've thought about doing the back to back fasting as well. We'll see. I kind of like just doing the long ones and then just kind of celebrating with like just eating whatever I want for a couple days. Not like junky food, but just like, you know, cheese and fruits and berries and like dates and stuff like that. Maybe a baked potato. Junior Abadan on Instagram asks, what are you craving the most? I would say the number one thing I want to break my fast with is like a piece of fruit, but probably raw unsalted cheddar cheese. That's like, right now, that sounds like an amazing thing to break my fast with, is some cheese. So I'm probably going to do cheese and fruit. Maybe a little honey, and then maybe like a baked potato after that. We'll see. Prod by Vero on YouTube asks, how much does it take to get rid of heavy metals? I don't know, man. I don't know enough about the human body. It's a very complicated system. So it's hard to say. But I feel like the body has a good mechanism to get rid of that stuff. I can only guess. But I've heard that like eating berries helps. I've heard there's certain foods like oysters help with that. And there's obviously a lot of herbs and things that you can look into that also remove heavy metals, allegedly. What's up, Francis Gianni? Or Francisco Giannini. What's up, buddy? My stomach does not burn. Welcome, everybody. Do I dream about food in my sleep? I had a dream about a cheeseburger a couple nights ago, but no dreams other than that. Desmomodo says, adrenaline due to stress hormones pumping into your body during fasting gives you mental clarity and alertness. Could be something to do with that, for sure. Deptualism says, my question was related to biologically, like, as you aren't a successful hunter. Yeah, like I said earlier, I think it might put you in a hunting mode, for sure. That's definitely a possibility. Brian M says, what is that channel you just shouted out and where to find it? It's called Beyond Terrain. There's a video on my channel where we did an interview, and he's got some good stuff on there. Kaneji456 on YouTube asks, do I eat adrenal glands? I have a few different times, yeah, when I can actually source it from Miller's Organic Farm. I do eat them, yes. I'm Francesco Giannini asks on Instagram, can I ask you about the fridge of your friend that killed his sheep? How does he preserve his meat in this fridge? As far as I know, he does it by dry aging. So you just have to look into how to convert a fridge or a freezer into a dry ager. And basically what you do is you put a temperature regulator on it. So you regulate the temperature and then you find a way to regulate the humidity somehow as well. But he turns it into a dry ager and then he hangs primal cuts of meat. Deptualism says, it seems like it's your frame of mind during the process rather than the fasting, in my opinion. Yeah, to me it's not even like a biological thing. I don't do this for necessarily like for physical health, even though I know it's a big benefit. Right now I'm at the point to where like I'm just doing it because it's like mind over matter, and I look at it as a challenge because I'm actually not hungry. So what's the point of eating if I'm not hungry, right? And I love that idea. And I love the idea of when should I eat and why should I eat? It's almost like a philosophical question, but it's very deep. Like, why do you eat when you eat? You know, like what are the signs and symptoms, and how do you know that's actually natural hunger? How does anybody know what natural hunger really is if you just constantly eat all day? So I like to do this because it helps me figure out what natural hunger is again. A guy on YouTube says, "Hey, I'm late to the party. What's the reason for the fast? I thought the raw foods diet logic was that fasting was bad for your health." That's something that Augenis Wonderplanets talks about. And I think because he was geared towards healing diseases of toxicity in the body, that it seems more logical that you should take in a lot of raw fats and expel the toxicity through that. Whereas fasting could potentially subject you to like an overwhelming toxin dump into your organs and blood. I see the point of that if you're healing diseases of toxicity, but if you're healing diseases of food overconsumption, then fasting is like a miracle for that. So there's just, and Augenis has also acknowledged that there's certain protocols for fasting that are actually very effective, and there's thousands of books written on it where it's healed many, many different diseases for many people. There's videos on it on YouTube. There's a lot going on with fasting. There's definitely something to it. Carnivore AT on Instagram is here. What's up, buddy? Yeah, depthalism. You're right. Fasting is definitely more of a spiritual vibe. It's a challenge, man. You got to really like to deprive yourself of food. Food is like the number one habit that most people have most ingrained into their life and body. And to break that habit is like an amazing experience. Carnivore AT on Instagram says fasting bliss must be through the roof right now. Dude, it's unreal. I feel great. For those of you that just joined, I'm streaming on YouTube as well, so I'm bouncing back and forth between comments. Varun Gupta on YouTube says, is fasting starvation, or does it make you more focused and help you lose fat? It's not starvation. There's a line between fasting and starvation, and that is when your body drops like 10 degrees in temperature, then you're starving officially. And you're not officially starving until you lose all the fat in your body and you start like burning all your muscle up. But in the meantime, you're just burning fat. So there's definitely a difference between fasting and starvation. And fasting does not equal starvation, because that would mean every time you stop eating, you're starving. Because fasting literally means just you're not eating. But it definitely makes me more focused. It makes me more alert. I'm able to get like a lot more done during the day. It seems like the days are longer too. Like I'm able to just get so much more done, and I sleep less. You know, I sleep like 6-7 hours instead of 8. Definitely helps me lose fat. Nuanced Vitality on Instagram asks, what will you break your fast with? Most likely a piece of fruit or some berries and some raw unsalted cheese. That's what I'm craving. I'm not really craving it, but that's what sounds the most delicious. You could call it a craving. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to figure all this stuff out, man. We're so blessed and at the same time cursed with so much food in this Western world that we live in, that it's hard to figure out like what are cravings and what's hunger and all this stuff. I've been stuffing my face for 5 years with cheese and eggs and milk and meat all day long, that I'm trying to figure out what the cravings are again, you know, and what to eat. Connor says, what about some raw milk? That doesn't sound as good to me as cheese. The Cutest Nihilist says, will your stomach hurt once you break the fast? In my experience is no, my stomach has never hurt as long as you eat something good, like a good raw food, like raw cheese or some fruit or something. Niall says, how do you gain weight without carbs? That can be kind of tough. But you can try to eat more fat. It depends on your age. If you're young, like I see this issue a lot with like young men that can't gain weight. Sometimes it's just really hard. Your metabolism's so high, maybe you're not meant to gain any weight for that time. But that happened to me when I was like 19, 20, and then I gained a bunch of weight when I was like 24, 25. But you can also lift weights. You'll gain weight lifting weights too. You'll burn more fat, but you'll gain weight with muscle. And you'll gain a lot of weight with muscle. Sampy on YouTube says, how much weight have you lost so far? I believe I'm at 3.5 pounds. I lose about a pound a day when I fast. Hiron Carney says, what are your thoughts and motivations for going into this long fast? What happened was I started not feeling great this week, and it wasn't like really a cold or a flu. I just felt kind of bogged down, and it's kind of hard to remember what pushed me into this, but it was basically I wasn't feeling great. Oh, I had like a headache. That's right. I was really fatigued, and I had a headache. And that's just really unusual for me to have a headache. That's just not something that I ever deal with. So whenever I get like body pains, nagging body pains that don't go away, or they're just there, I know it's something to do with I need to fast, like I'm eating too much food. And that's just something that I've discovered in my journey, is that's how it manifested myself, is that I've been overeating, and I've truly been overeating. I've been eating like 4 meals a day. I eat a big snack meal right before I go to bed. Like I eat a huge breakfast, like 5 raw eggs, raw milk. I eat like 8 ounces of meat. Like I'm eating giant meals because I've been lifting weights a lot and trying to put on muscle. So I've been overeating a little bit, and I think that manifested itself into some body pains, some headaches, some fatigue. And I just said, I'm going to fast tomorrow. I'm not going to eat tomorrow. Because usually when I feel like a sickness coming on, like a cold or anything like that, I feel under the weather, I usually will skip like lunch and breakfast, and I'll just eat like maybe 1 meal at dinner, and I usually feel better. But this time I just skipped a whole day, and I felt so good the next day that I was just like, I'm gonna keep pushing it. And that's what's happened every single day I wake up. I feel like amazing every day that I wake up, and throughout the day I feel great. I'm able to function. I'm able to like read, and you know, I'm still basically on like vacation right now. I'm not working or anything, so I wouldn't recommend doing this if you're like you have like a full-time job, or you know, you have to like work very hard or use your brain extensively throughout the day. It's really hard to fast and use a lot of energy. You'll get stressed out pretty easy. Okay. Evan Fish on Instagram says, do you think it matters to supplement with electrolytes during fasts, sodium, potassium, magnesium? I have never, at the beginning, I think, like 5 years ago when I started discovering fasting, and it's, to be clear, the last time I did a fast like this, I think was over 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. But when I did this like 5 years ago, I did that as well. I started adding like salt and electrolytes to my water. But now I just drink Mountain Valley spring water, and it seems fine. I don't think it's necessary if you just drink spring water. Alex says, how long do you plan to go? I'm probably, the way I'm headed, I'm probably going to go at least 7 days. Tomorrow will be 5 days. Tomorrow at like 8 o'clock p.m. it'll be like 5 days fasted. But I'd like to break my record and go like 11 or 12 days, because my record is 10 days. And that was, when I was 10 days fasted, I wasn't even like at the point of like sickness or extreme weakness or anything. I was just getting a little dizzy, a little lightheaded. I'm also much healthier now than I was 4 years ago when I did my 10-day fast. So I could probably fast 12 days, if not 2 weeks. But I don't want to go much further than like 12 days right now, because I don't want to lose too much weight. So I'm going to lose like a pound a day. So I'm at like 212 right now, and I don't really want to go below 200. So The most I'll probably go is like 2 weeks, but I'm gonna shoot for 7 to 10 days and go from there. Alex says, look into deuterium depleted water. I have, dude. I just read Tom Cowan's book. His book, Water. The hell is it called? His book about water. But he talks about deuterium depleted water for sure. I guess it's good. That's what I got out of it. Harani Carney on Instagram says, further to the question about electrolytes, do you think in general we need to ingest salts? Are all the electrolytes we need not naturally contained in meat? Correct. I don't take in any salts outside of the rare, if we go to a restaurant and I eat like a salted steak like once a month or something, I don't put any salt in my food at all. And I haven't for the majority of 5 years. So all the electrolytes you need are going to be in raw milk, raw eggs, raw cheese, raw meat, things like that. But yeah, I also believe that you can probably just get it just in like red meat as well. It's very simple. Sergeant Angel, what's up, buddy? Sergeant Angel on YouTube says, congrats on the baby. You breastfeeding or doing raw animal milk? Oh, we're breastfeeding, man, for sure. That dude, he's drinking breast milk all day long. Depthilism says, continued, then associating the effects of hormones being released from almost dying and then inducing the effect purposely. I've heard that theory before. I mean, it's interesting, but I don't necessarily subscribe to it because I don't feel like I'm dying. You know? Like, I feel like I'm elevated. So I think what's going on, I would say, here's what I think is going on, is I think that when you eat too much food, it bogs down your system to the point to where your body cannot normally do its sort of cleanup processes. And so when you fast for a while, it relieves your body of digestion, which is like one of the most taxing processes. And then your body is able to continue these sort of cleanup processes inside your body, inside your brain, etc., etc. It also deprives your body of potential foods that could be bothering you in some way. But I think for the most part, just relieving your body of digestion gives your body a chance to clean things up. And that's just what I feel right now, is I feel super clean and super crisp. I feel a little bit of stress, I'm not gonna lie. There's an interesting level of underlying stress, just a mild level of underlying stress right now, and that hit me probably yesterday morning on like day 2. But it's not bad. I'm very chill. Like, I'm not overreacting to anything. I'm very relaxed. I'm just kind of laying around, just reading. Like, I'm able to, like, I took a nap today. Like, I'm not like stressed out, but I can feel a mild trickle of like cortisol or something for sure. Primal Rap says, what do you think about AB red blood cells eating each other after 5 hours without protein? I mean, I've heard that. I think Augenist taught that in his book and in his lectures and stuff. I don't know, man. I'm just running and gunning here, dude. And I just only really recommend things and show people things that I do myself and experiment with on my own body. And I have a pretty good meter for what is healthy and what isn't healthy, because I've been very unhealthy before and I've also been very healthy like I am now. And to me, long-term fasting feels extremely healthy, mentally and spiritually and physically. So whether or not my red blood cells are eating each other, whether or not that's bad or not, I have no idea. I have no idea how to prove that. I don't have a laboratory. I don't have, experiments to prove that or not. But and I don't even know if that's bad. I don't know, man. I'm very skeptical of people that present any sort of information about the body with confidence, because it's really hard to get to learn about the body without, interfering with the experiment by putting yourself in a laboratory or whatever. Prod by Vro on YouTube says, do you eat a lot before fasting? Well, I did for like a long time, like weeks. I was overeating just from the holidays, and just we were eating a lot of snacks and stuff. But not like the day before. I didn't really prepare for it. I just kind of winged it. Hey guys says, what do you drink while fasting? Plain old water. Yeah, Mountain Valley spring water. Right here. And I don't even need that much. I just kind of sip it. I might drink one of these bottles a day, perhaps. I'm Francesco Giannini on Instagram says, do you feel any as need to walk a lot during your days? I think that a clean body need them and communicate us. Do I feel a need to walk a lot? I feel a need to walk for sure, but unfortunately it's like 4 degrees outside right now, Fahrenheit, and it was negative 18 last night. So we're in the middle of like an enormous blizzard and cold snap right now. So it's like a really good time for me to fast. So I'm literally like locked in my house from a blizzard. So it's a good time to let's just not eat and just go on a spiritual journey. Blood is Life says, does high meat help us digest fats from the acids created? I have no idea, man. Eric on Instagram says, have you kept track of your weight during the fast? Yeah, I'm weighing myself every day with a doctor's scale, and I lost 3.5 pounds. Eddie Music Log on YouTube says, what are you trying to clean? I didn't really go into it with like a plan. I don't know how else to explain it, but I just intuitively felt like I had been eating too much food over the last like couple months. And this happens quite a bit when I get into like weightlifting, because you have to fuel your body with a lot of carbohydrates and just food in general if you want to like get massive. So I've been putting on a lot of muscle and getting pretty big. So I've been overeating, and I just wasn't hungry, man. I just felt like I felt like if I didn't eat the next day, I would feel better. And sure enough, I stopped eating, and it completely cured my headache, and it got rid of my fatigue. And then the next day I woke up with just an abundance of energy. So fasting cured whatever I was experiencing, and every day I wake up and I feel great. So I just decided to keep pushing it. Primal Rap says, nice beard. Thank you, sir. Sanji on Instagram says, does your wife fast? Thoughts on impacts of fasting on female hormones? She doesn't fast right now because we're breastfeeding my son. So we don't think that would be a good idea. I don't know if women are meant to fast or not. I don't know. I've seen issues with women just having issues with carnivore diet, like they need carbohydrates to function, like more so than men. I think there's obviously a biological difference between men and women, so we might have like different needs. So I could be wrong on this, but my instinct is that it's not a good idea, unless the women are like severely overweight and they want to lose some weight, or they have some sort of like some disease that they can't find a cure for. And as a last resort, you try fasting. But I would need to talk to more women that have fasted long term about that. Themo Grower on Instagram says, how's the body still functioning 10 degrees below normal? Well, it does, but it doesn't function very well. If you read the book Fasting and Man's Correct Diet by R.B. Pearson, you'll see all the experiments they did on people with fasting and starvation. And they were ethical because the people had already destroyed their stomachs. So they were like already dying. So they couldn't eat. So they had to fast them to death. So you'll see what happens when your body temperature drops. And there's a big difference between fasting and starvation. Big, big difference. MM says, when I was following raw meat and no grain, I used to get cold and flu symptoms a lot. Now that I'm eating cooked meat, raw honey, carrot, and some fruit, white rice, I'm feeling a lot better and energized. You're probably detoxing like crazy, dude. That happens to some people that get on this diet. The raw diet will start to detoxify you, and you'll start to get like flu and cold symptoms. You just got to push through it, man. Ronnie Carney says, what are your insights on the relationship between fasting and aging? Supposedly eating ages us, eating less food overall increases longevity. Yeah, 100%, dude. Like, they've done studies on this, and the less calories that you eat, the longer you live. Now, I think there's a balance there. You don't want to just obviously be fasting all the time because it's hard to do certain things. Like, with my jobs, I need to lift heavy weights, sometimes up to like 100 pounds and things like that. Like, that's not something you want to do while you're fasting all the time. So you got to look at quantity of life versus quality of life, right? Like, do you want to live to be 150 and just like a monk, just like sitting on a hill, meditating? Or would you rather live to be like 100 and strong and, you know, like exerting a lot more energy and things like that? So it's very interesting. I do think if you are interested in extending your life, then eating less food is probably a great idea. Eating the least amount of food as possible while still being able to function without having a disease is the way to go. And that's what I do with my dogs now because I want them to live super long. So I actually fasted them for 3 days. I broke their fast yesterday, and I'm going to fast them for a couple more days. Modern Welfare on YouTube says, is there such a thing as vitamin A toxicity? I just started eating raw grass-fed beef liver, but only in small amounts. How much do you eat in one setting? Are vitamins even real? Good question, dude. If you look into vitamins, it's all kind of like a scam. Like, there's no evidence that that vitamin deficiencies actually exist. If you look into it, if you look into anything long enough, it's all bullshit, dude. It's all bullshit. So that's why you have to learn to go with your instincts and learn to follow your body, man. Once you get your body tuned in and just listen to yourself, we're all like equipped. We have these compasses inside of us that tell us where to go and what to eat and how to eat. With the liver, follow your instincts, man. When I first discovered beef liver 5 years ago, I ate like a pound at a time, a couple times a week. And then I went to like a pound every few weeks. And then I went to like a pound a month. And now I just eat a couple ounces with each meal, a few times a week. And then I'll do that like for a week or two, and that's it. But I don't know if vitamin A toxicity is real. I have no idea. I mean, like I said, how would I know? Like, I'm not, you know, how would I know that? Like, besides just believing what I read, you know what I'm saying? But I can tell you that my intuitions say, if you just follow your own instincts when it comes to eating food and eat what you crave, then you won't run into issues like that. Thermo Grower says, isn't anything below like 96 body degree temp fatal? Probably. So I think that's what happens with these people that went into starvation and then died, is essentially, yeah, their body temp dropped like way below 96. Primal Rap on Instagram says, I wonder if cheese sounds better to you because the fasting is making toxins dump I'm in the stomach and you need cheese to soak it up. Could be. Could be. Cheese, like, to me, when you're like fasted or you're like really hungry, raw cheese is like the best food to eat. I love it. Eternal on YouTube says, I can't sleep while extended fasting without salt water. Have you tried just like spring water? This is all I drink. For those of you that are just joining, I'm streaming on YouTube and Instagram. If you want to follow both of them, I don't know if you can possibly do that, but yeah, you don't want to drink dead water, that's for sure. Fernando Afonso says, bro, have you researched iridology? It looks like your eyes are changing another shade of blue. Oh, for sure, dude. I've been looking into iridology for years, and I've been taking pictures of my eyes just in case they do change. So, yeah, I've heard a lot of people mention that it looks like my eyes are getting a little lighter, and I think they're right. If you look at pictures of me from like 7 years ago, my eyes were... they looked darker. I think they're getting more blue, for sure. Like the yellow, I have like yellow rings around my eyes from lymphatic congestion. But I think they're getting bluer. Connor P7 on Instagram says, how would you respond when you say you'd break the fast when you feel hungry if from the beginning you're constantly feeling hungry throughout the fast? Well, from the beginning, I'm not feeling hungry though. Like I'm not actually hungry. You know when you're hungry, dude. When you push yourself in a fast for days and days and days, you'll find out when you're hungry. You'll really find out. And for me, when I start getting hungry is when I start having fantasies and daydreams about food. That's when I'm like, okay, it's time to eat. And I also start to get a little lightheaded. That's when I'm like, okay, I've pushed it this far, let's go ahead and eat. Dirk Dingler on YouTube says, hi, how do your dogs behave while you fast them? Don't they get hyperactive? They don't get hyperactive, but they get very alert and they seem like very happy. But no, not hyperactive. Sometimes they'll get like really excited around like dinner time because they think that a meal's coming, and I'm like, sorry dudes, you guys are fasting. But my dogs, their behavior is the best. They're very alive and alert, and they're not just kind of laying around like sleeping. They're very alive and alert when they're fasted. Amos can't sell anything? That sucks. Mr. Carora says, why do you think old people eat less? Probably because they're not as hungry, man. I mean, their body, probably the metabolism is so slowed down that you just don't need as much food. That's going to be my best guess. And also they probably learn discipline and moderation by that time. And they learn that, like, I feel like crap when I eat too much, so I'm just going to eat as little as possible. Marcel on Instagram says, do you bench press? Yeah, that's my favorite. My favorite, man. Eddie Music Log on YouTube says, interesting with the vitamins. When I Google vitamins and go to images, it doesn't actually show anything concrete. I know. There's kind of like a scam going on with vitamins, dude. There's like no evidence that vitamin deficiencies actually exist. Code provider says, why bother fasting? It's not a bother, man. It's actually, it just seems natural to me at certain points in my life. But mostly beyond physical, like it can elevate to a higher level of like spiritual consciousness. And I think that's why it's in all the religious textbooks and all the great spiritual leaders fasted, because they experienced a higher level of existence spiritually. And a lot of people have also reported this, and that's exactly what I feel when I get on it too. So for me, it's not really like a biological thing. It's just, it just feels like that's what I should be doing right now. And it tunes you in with what's real, and what, like, it helps remind you of like everything you're putting inside your body, and why are you putting this stuff in your body, and how often you're doing it. And it's a good way to kick addictions as well. Milos Mates says, how are you breaking the fast? Broth, meat, or fruits? I'm gonna do probably like an apple, some raw unsalted cheese, and then maybe like a baked potato with some butter. Some good tasty stuff. Yeah, maybe some honey. Connie Tenderseed on Instagram says, fasting today because your experience. I feel fantastic. Yeah, it's been pretty unreal. I'm glad you're feeling good. A lot of people report these same things. Some people fast and they feel like shit. You know? I could probably turn this light down just a little bit. Some people fast and they feel like shit, you know? Some people eat raw meat and they feel like shit. Some people eat raw meat and they have amazing results like me. It's just, everybody's a little different. Zero on YouTube says, how safe are eggs to be eaten raw if bought from the supermarket, and should you remove the white part always? I think they're safe. They're safer than cooking them for sure. And I would not remove the white. There's no evidence that you have to remove the white. But ultimately, you want to try to get pasture-raised organic eggs. MM on YouTube says, Frank Tufano claims he feels better with a diet. Looks like a standard American diet, but organic and tons of supplements. What do you think? I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't really get it. I would not trust him for nutrition advice, dude. I'm pretty sure he just got like surgery on his eyes or something, and they look really weird. I don't know, man. I would be very wary about a lot of these nutrition influencers online. Some of them are a little crazy, man. Milos says, why starch? I don't know. I just love potatoes, dude. John Lawler on Instagram says, hello, do you ever eat ice cream? Yeah, we make homemade ice cream all the time. Whenever we get cream, we make a bunch of ice cream. Welcome, everybody. Okay. Yusef says it is okay to eat cooked meat sometimes. I think so. I do every once in a while. You're not gonna die, that's for sure. Eternal says, I think Frank is probably a deceiver or a fool. It could be something like that for sure. I don't like to talk too much trash about people, other influencers, but there's some really crazy people out there, man. There's a couple real prominent nutrition influencers out there. One of them's in the raw meat community, and they're pretty insane, dude. Borderline like psychopaths, you know? You gotta be careful about these people online. I never did this to get attention. I never did this to get famous or anything like that. I did this, I swear to God, I did this to start helping people because my experience with raw meat was so profound that I decided to help other people with it. And I started learning so much from you guys. Like, you guys taught me way more than I taught you. And I've been on this journey for 5 years, and I've learned so much, man. And that's why I continue doing what I'm doing, because it's like, this is obviously what I should be doing. But I definitely don't want to be famous. I don't try to be famous. I don't try to put myself out there. I've had like television shows approach me. That's how I got on television. But I don't have like, I've had people try to represent me and try to, you know, expand whatever, give me more fame or whatever. I don't want that, man. I just would like to make a living doing this if possible, which I'm not quite at yet, but we started our business, Row Naturals, and I'm going to try to expand that. But I would just like to make a living and support my family, and that's about it. But there's some people out there, my point of that is there's some people out there that they do this because they want the attention. Like that's their primary reason. Don't get me wrong, attention is fun, but it's not my primary reason for being here. In fact, sometimes I don't like the attention at all. Beef Lover here on Instagram says, shall I use your beard balm after a shower or before to remove the beard flaky stuff? After, for sure. Like I'll scrub my face with a washcloth and then I'll get out and then I'll take the balm and I'll stick it on my fingertips and go all the way in to my chin and rub it in my chin. I'll put a bunch in. Marcos Aguero 91 says on Instagram, looking to do a 72-hour fast at least. What are some recommendations you can give to have a smooth fast? Make sure you're chilling at home. You don't have a whole lot to do. Relax. Get some good spring water in case you get a little dry. And just chill, man. And the funnest thing to do while you're fasting is research videos about fasting. Go on Lauren Lockman's channel on YouTube. He's got a fascinating channel where people fast for like 30 to 45 days. With like nothing less than profound results. Code provider on YouTube says if you're eating raw primal, then you shouldn't need to fast at all. What makes you think that? I would assume you would have a lot of experience with fasting to be able to make a claim like that. So what's your experiences with long-term fasting, and what makes you think if you're eating raw primal, then you shouldn't need to fast? I mean, it depends on what you mean by raw primal, right? Because autogenous' recommendations for a lot of people are to just stuff your face all day long and wake up in the middle of the night and stuff your face with food all day, all night. Like, I can't do that, man. So if that's what you mean by raw primal, then I would have to fast. But like I said, it's not like there's a lot of people that are all focused on like the material, the biological, the scientific stuff that all autogenous taught. Autogenous taught us this and that. Well, this is like fasting is more of like a spiritual thing. It's hard to articulate. If you've never experienced it, it's very hard to articulate in words, but it's kind of beyond. It's beyond like the primal diet, dude. It's like way above the primal diet. It's levels above that. Amitai Bergman on YouTube says, doing raw carnivore and histamine intolerance grounding me sick and all for 3 months in. Any advice for histamine intolerance condition? I unfortunately don't know anything about histamine intolerances. I've had people asking that many times over the years, and I just don't have a real good answer for that. So Brian M says, speaking of cray, Vegetable Police released a new video a couple days ago, but I just couldn't LOL. That I know, dude. I actually forget about that guy, that he even exists. I used to actually watch him when I first got into the health sphere. Dude, Vegetable Police is... I know, dude. There's something wrong with that guy, for sure. I feel bad for a lot of these people, man. And it's kind of evil. It's kind of like demonic how like the people focus on the crazy people like that, and then they get them like famous, and so then they like rely on their channel for money, and then they like continue to make more videos because they have a big following. It's like demonic, dude. And so then they continue to get like more mentally ill, and like it's pretty wild. MM says, do you bake your potatoes? Yes. Joey says, not sure if you already answered this already, but are you avoiding strenuous activities, exercise? Absolutely. I'm just chilling. I am doing a little bit of infrared sauna though. So I'll do like a really good sweat once a day. What's up, MSK? Shep Schomburg says, would you ever microdose or actually trip from psilocybin, maybe spiritual benefits? Oh, dude, I've had many many experiences with the old psilocybin. I actually thought about breaking my fast with psilocybin. I thought that'd be interesting, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that this time. But I think the way to do it would be fasting and then try psilocybin. But yeah, psilocybin is also a big spiritual journey for me as well. Amite Bergman on YouTube says, it's like I cannot eat fresh meat from the supermarket, only from some retail butcher, but I cannot find beef fat source that I do not react negatively because of histamine. That's interesting. I don't really understand the histamine thing yet. That's a pretty deep topic, and it's a hard one to figure out. MM says, will you feed your kid a primal diet? Yes. Huron Carney says, do I sun gaze ever? I don't go out of my way to do it, just because of like time restraints. But I try to, for one, I never use sunglasses, including when I'm driving. If I have blinding sun in my face, I just look at the sun. And my vision's gotten pretty good, and I've been pretty much like intolerant, or more tolerant, I should say, to bright lights in the sun, because I stopped using sunglasses. And I make an effort to, if I'm ever out during sunrise or sunset, to actually look at it. Yeah, the sun's great, especially when you're on the beach on water. Why do I lift? Because I feel great afterwards. It boosts my testosterone. Mostly for the hormonal balance that I get from it. It regulates my mood, my temperament, my focus, my testosterone. Excuse me. Terry X91 on Instagram says, I saw some interesting research on fasting to starve out cancer. And for that vitamin A toxicity, the only case of it was from synthetic vitamin A. There's never been a case of the real food. I've heard that as well too. I should remember that when people ask me that question, that the only case of it was from synthetic vitamin A. And fasting, 100% people have cured their cancer by fasting. They've cured tons of diseases by fasting, man. Code provider says, do you drink blood? I have drank blood, yeah. It's really hard to get though fresh. But I've drank animal blood for sure. Junior Abadan says, when fasting that long, do you get nauseous? No. Definitely not nauseous. More like the opposite. Huron Carney on Instagram says, if you could eat only 3 foods for the rest of time, what would they be from the perspective of health and or taste? Beef steak, raw unsalted cheese, and raspberries. Mitigate stress in the house. What's up, my friend? I do avoid strenuous activities during fasting, yes. Shep Schomburg says, yeah, man, fasting has to be powerful. Dr. Sebi reported individuals being cured from cancer fasting in the sun all day. 100% did. Yeah. You know what also cures cancer? Not doing anything about it. Think about that one. There's people that cure their cancer by literally just not doing anything, and your body just naturally resolves it. So, yeah. People freak out though when they get a diagnosis, and then they just go through all these protocols, which makes the cancer worse. Vegetable Police is definitely a comedy channel. Thomas Flath on Instagram says, what should you start off eating to become more natural? Raw meat. It's a great start. But just cut out processed foods to begin with. That's a good start. Cut out breads and sugary stuff and anything with vegetable oils. Maybe start by cutting that stuff out, and then start eating more meat. Get on a meat-based diet, and then start eating raw shortly after that. Blonde Aesthetic on Instagram says, "Can I eat raw ground beef from the grocery store?" Yes, definitely can. MM says, "I'm 37 years old. I fed my twins a raw diet. Mostly now that they're teenagers, they eat whatever and not into raw that much." That's interesting. Yeah, I'm curious how my son is gonna turn out. He'll still be healthy. Thanks, Youssef. I appreciate the good words there. I try to be a good role model. I had to learn the hard way, as most dads would say. Or big brothers or big uncles, however you wanna look at me. I lived the hard life for a little while, so I know what not to do. Melon Seed says, "What do I think about canned foods like tuna?" Probably not good, because there's metal in the cans and stuff. Ron Carney says, "How old are you? Thanks for doing what you're doing. You are inspiring us to be better." Well, thanks, man. I'm glad to be of inspiration. And I'm 41. I'll be 42 in June. I kind of like these dual streams. This is the way to go. Because that way, like, you guys on YouTube can hear the Instagram questions. You guys on Instagram can hear the YouTube questions. I don't know why I never did this before. I should figure out a way to like stream on Facebook too at the same time. Shep Schomburg says, "You wouldn't never consider doing content full time." Well, I did for a while, not even full time for a while, but when I started this channel, I wasn't working for a while, and I was able to like. That's how I got basically this channel, like both of my channels, like off the ground. It's because I had a lot of extra time, but just life happens, man. Like I'm 41, dude. So like I just got married and I have a baby now. Like it's really hard to like do this stuff full time because I also have like a full time job. But I will say the main reason I don't do this full time is because I'm so shadow banned that it's really hard for me to monetize and make money off of my channel, because YouTube and Instagram have both like sabotaged my channel to a point to where it's like really hard to grow. Like if you notice my numbers on my channel, like they don't grow. Every once in a while one of my videos will go viral or something and I'll get like 2,000 followers, but they take so many followers away from me. They take like 10 people away off my channel every day. And with YouTube, it's like I'll get like 50 followers a month or something. Like they took me out of the algorithm because I used to speak really strongly about like medical procedures and things like that they took me off the algorithm. So I can't really monetize these channels, but that's why I started my business, Row Naturals. If you guys want to support me and my channel and my adventures and my videos and my family, you can get on rownaturals.shop, ROWE naturals.shop, and we have some balms and some whipped tallows that we're selling, and we're going to have soap on there very soon in the next probably few weeks. Hirani Carney says, "Is taste a scam?" I don't think so. I just think that we're meant to obviously have taste buds to tell whether something's like poison or not. Fernando Alfonso on YouTube says, what do you think of the food combining model about not mixing certain types of foods, such as proteins and carbohydrates, in the same meal? I like the idea because I prefer to eat my meals very plain. So I like to just eat like, I don't like to drink milk with my meat and things like that. I just like to eat like raw meat by itself with some fat. And every once in a while I'll have like a carbohydrate, like a potato or something. But and I've never had any issues eating like one piece of fruit with meat. But typically I do like the idea, and I feel like I digest food better when I eat foods by themselves. Mitai Bergman on YouTube says, "Do you aware about difference between aerobic bacteria and anaerobic that developed in food inside a sealed container? Any thoughts?" Yeah, you don't want to seal your containers because you can develop anaerobic bacteria. That's very true. See, Eternal says combining fruit and meat is a big no-no. I disagree, man. I've eaten a fruit with my lunch in the spring and summer every day, and I never have any digestion problems. So I don't know, maybe some people do, but I don't have that issue. Maybe it's not like perfectly ideal, but I never have issues with it. Shep Schomburg on Instagram says, "Yeah, it's hard when you're trying to spread the truth, but I look at people like Liver King, who is pretty outspoken and extremely viral." Right, but he's not talking about the big V. See, that guy's not talking about that shit. If you look at my old streams, dude, like, I'm very open and honest about medical procedures and the medical industry. He doesn't get into stuff like that. He's more of like a meme. He's like a raw meat barbarian meme. So he really keeps his mouth shut on a lot of stuff. Like, even Sean Baker is more outspoken than Liver King. Yeah, Eternal, like, it's all about, yeah, you don't want to eating more than one fruit just doesn't seem right. I think that's why he made them perfect, in the perfect amount inside one fruit, you know. Welcome, everybody. We're about an hour into the stream here. We've had a lot of people show up. Have I ever wanted to plan a trip to visit a primal cultural group? Oh yeah, dude, for sure. That would be like a dream of mine, to go visit like a tribe and like eat their food and like hang out with them. 100%, dude. That would be awesome. Maybe when I get older, my family will plan a trip. And Mitai says, "Is freezing meat encouraging anaerobic bacteria growth?" That's interesting. I never thought about that, because you're sealing it. Maybe, but it's just, it grows like, you know, what I forgot to do is I forgot to play music this whole time. Sorry, guys. I planned on playing music. Shit. That's an interesting thought about the freezing meat and anaerobic bacteria. It could be possible, but I think the freezing of it and lowering the temperature so much possibly inhibits the growth. I got so carried away with my stream, I forgot to put on the jams. It's funny. Yeah, I'm not intentionally on a music fast, but to be honest with you, I have not listened to much music on this fast. Do I drink raw milk? Raw milk? Yes. Every morning I'll have a little bit. What's up, Jonathan Pernice? My moderator finally shows up to work. You're an hour late, John. Where were you, man? We didn't need any bannings, luckily. Sergeant Angel says flat earth opinions. I'm going to safely say I don't know, but I'm open to either. Haran Karni says there's a region in northern Russia where frozen raw meat is the main food source. For sure. There's definitely a reason for it. There's like there's a use for it. And Carly says, thoughts on iridology, and have you ever had your irises read? Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I believe it, for sure. It seems legit, and I've never had my irises officially read by someone that's really educated on it, but I've looked at my own eyes, and I've seen some things in there, some aberrations. But a lot of people are saying my eyes are looking lighter, and it looks like it according to photographs, because every once in a while, like once every year or two, I'll take a picture of my irises so I can see like the progression, if they change different colors and things like that. Don't drink much blood or veg juices, no. Alright, so I'm about to wrap it up here, folks. We're about an hour, 10 minutes in. Make this an easily digestible video for most people. I will check back in with y'all probably tomorrow. I'll just keep checking with you guys like every day, to be honest with you. I'll do a stream every day. We'll talk more about fasting and things like that. What color are my eyes? They were blue when I was a kid, then they turned green, and they seem to be going back more blue. But, alright guys, I appreciate you guys all participating, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace out.